All right, have you got the thumbs up yet? No? Thumbs up, right? Okay, there we go. So, ladies and gentlemen, would you please be upstanding for the arrival of the bride? Thank you. It's lovely, thank you. Doesn't she look stunning? And that's absolutely gorgeous dress too, beautifully displayed there by the bridesmaids. Wonderfully escorted by the glamorous entourage, sisters Danielle and Kimberly, Will's sister Victoria and BFF Jess. No one though can eclipse the star of the show, no, not even the father of the bride, Graham. He was there when Frankie took her first steps and has now walked with her towards the love of her life. No father could be prouder of his daughter, nor more pleased to welcome Will into the family. So, as a sign of this, he's going to pass Frankie's hand into Will's hand, so signifying his blessing at their marriage. Thank you. Okay, best man and father of the bride, you may be seated. Okay, you two. Would you like to move around here? Where? That's it. That's it. Oh, lovely. And then if you just hold hands. That's it. That's it. Oh, no, that's it. There you go. Beautiful. Thank you. May you all be seated, ladies and gentlemen. Well, a wedding is a time for celebration when family and friends join together to wish the happy couple luck and good fortune in their married life. All of you have a very special place in Frankie and Will's hearts, but there is one important lady who isn't here, although she will always be in our happy couple's thoughts. So we remember Belinda, Frankie's mum. By speaking her name, we are involving her in the festivities and honouring how much she meant to our happy couple. Frankie, your mum would be so proud of you today, of the beautiful bride you are, and of the life that you are living with William by your side. She knows that William will always make you happy and will care and look after you, just as she did when you were young. She is smiling on you both and will be wishing you many wonderful years together, as we here all do. Well, we all know why we are here today, but how did Frankie and William's love story start? Well, for that, we need to turn the clock back 8 years and to another celebration. It was William's 21st birthday, and as fortune would have it, it was also Frankie's best mate, today's maid of honour, Jess's 21st birthday. Suffice to say, both William and Frankie were out celebrating. It didn't take long for William to decide what he wanted for his birthday. He'd seen Frankie sitting in a chair at Jess's house and fancied Frankie straight away, or as he put it, she was so fit with a lovely bum. But it was too early in the evening to make his move. He needed a few more vodkas at Rev's to pluck up the courage for that. William needn't have worried. Frankie obviously felt the same way, as no sooner had they got talking than she grabbed his phone and input her number. Not just that, but she saved the number as wife. Could Frankie see into the future? Possibly not, or she would have chosen a winning lottery line too, but she certainly hit the jackpot in her relationship with William. That said, Frankie did make William work for her affection. He asked her out a number of times on actual dates before she said yes. She finally acquiesced at Easter, but rather than going on an egg hunt, they went on a pub crawl, beginning in what would become their favourite haunt, Lucia's, before returning to the scene of the crime, where the first sparks of romance were lit in Rev's. As we know what William fell in love with, but what about Frankie? Well, she says it was his boyish good looks, devilish charm, funny personality and confidence that first sparked her interest. She then quickly added, plus he had a nice car and was good at paying. Certainly won her heart there, William. For William, he found Frankie funny, easy to talk to and great company. He loved her laugh and dark sense of humour. He also didn't mind driving her around and paying for everything. Frankie had definitely found her perfect match. Before long, dating had become something more serious. They moved in together and acquired 2 dogs. What Frankie hadn't been prepared for, though, was William's impetuous nature. He once bought a BMW sports car, but on taking it home, Frankie pointed out that they couldn't get the dogs in it. A compromise was made. As you all know, Ernie and Henry are part of Frankie and William's family and will be making an appearance later in Inception. I should also point out that William has recently made another purchase, a small motorbike. The dogs can't fit in that, but they can fit in the sensible car that William bought Frankie, a car just for the dogs. It's not just vehicles that William buys on impulse. He bought 2 houses without even seeing them. Frankie was horrified as the first one needed a lot of work. The other one was to be an Airbnb in Thirsk. William had big plans for their future. He hasn't yet got a property empire, but he is working towards it. There is one issue, though. He doesn't have a proper bank account, which causes problems when he wants to place the occasional bet. Frankie has kindly let him use one of hers to put in the winnings, but he isn't allowed to spend from it. As you can see, they're the perfect partnership. All joking aside, these 2 do know how to bring the best out in one another. William loves Frankie's caring attitude and patience, and in his words, how she puts up with him. She may be kind, beautiful and shouty, but he loves her for it. For Frankie, she admires how keen William is for everything being done the proper way. He has high standards and is incredibly loyal to his friends and family. He's also very funny, especially in the impressions he does of others. And spot on too, even the ones he does of Frankie when she's getting stressed. She can be, I hear, a bit of a diva queen. If the toilet is blocked, she wants to knock the house down. Yes, these 2 tease each other. Frankie over William's hair and teeth. She will also never let him forget the trip to Edinburgh for one of his birthdays and how exhausted he got climbing Arthur's Seat. It's an ancient volcano. William may claim he's fit, But he couldn't face the long walk back, so skidded all the way down. William can easily get his own back though, and will joke about Frankie's diva side and her cooking. Despite 8 years of watching William make his favourite dish, spag bol, she still can't get it right. So he cooks and she washes up. Understandably, if Frankie wants to spoil William with a meal, she'll take him to their favourite restaurant, the Cumin Lounge, for a curry. Now, she must treat him a lot as they go out at least once a week. Frankie is such a romantic. She will even put up with William's love of Leeds United, although she is on her phone whilst a match is being played. William may have ambitions of being an entrepreneur, but in reality, he is a homebody, enjoying cosy nights in, country romps with the dogs, gardening. Frankie even got involved with weeding once for a whole 5 minutes. Their ideal night in is a takeaway whilst watching Love Island. And not just because Frankie wants to. William enjoys it too, honestly. Their life together is, of course, centred around the dogs. So it's not surprising that when William decided to propose, that their Jack Russell crosses would feature too. He had it all planned in meticulous detail. This is one occasion, he thought. He was not going to do it on the spur of the moment. Yes, a lot of thought went into it. He intended that they would go for a walk after work, taking Ernie and Henry up to the top of the Huff. Then there, overlooking their empire of Hambleton, that's his words, he would go down on one knee and ask that all-important question, have you got the doggy poo bags? Well, now you all know what he wanted to say. So what happened? Well, he arrived home and found that Frankie was already out with the dogs. So he waited impatiently for her return, the ring burning a hole in his pocket. He was perhaps a little nervous, his carefully thought out proposal having been thwarted. As he put it, he wanted to get rid of the ring quickly, but at least he put a little bit of romantic thought into it, lighting a candle and setting out a bottle of red wine and a couple of glasses. It was a very hot day, and Frankie arrived back overheated, or sweaty as William puts it. He suggested she went upstairs for a shower and got changed, which surprised Frankie somewhat. Her suspicion was further aroused by the wine and candles, but nothing happened. They enjoyed a glass of wine, then another, and then another. William then made an excuse to go and get something from the car. Well, he wasn't very secretive about it. Frankie didn't need to be a bloodhound or Sherlock Holmes to know that something was afoot. She frisked him when he returned, but he had concealed the ring very carefully, and she really did search him quite thoroughly, but had hidden it really well. She can't have looked that hard, as it was in his back pocket. But before she could rip his clothes off to search him further, he knelt down on one knee and asked her to marry him. For the first time in their relationship, Frankie was speechless. Despite having dropped hints for several months, asking outright on some occasions, she was truly surprised at William's proposal. It didn't take her long to scream out, yes. Which brings us nicely to being here today, where Frankie and William will now make vows to one another. So I'll ask you to step forward a little bit here. So you're right between these two pillars. Do you want some help, my dear?
Yes, please.
Yeah, okay. And if you turn to face me. Girls, one of you put the dress
Am
properly.
I facing you?
No, you're facing him. Okay. So we've got some other bits to do first.
Not yet.
So you're standing and facing one another, and you already know what you're doing. You're holding hands. Well done. And William, I'm going to speak to you first. Please respond, I do. Okay? Do you, William, promise to commit yourself to Francesca today, tomorrow, and for the rest of your life?
I do.
Do you promise to stand by her, to care and to be beside her during the good times and the bad?
I do.
Do you promise to make time for her, to listen to her, to support and encourage her so that you will grow together as a couple?
I do.
And finally, do you promise to prove yourself a real hero and get any spiders out of the house?
I do.
And now, and now, Frankie, I'm going to ask you the same questions. Again, please respond, I do. Do you, Francesca, promise to commit yourself to William today, tomorrow, and for the rest of your life?
I do.
Do you promise to stand by him, to care and to be beside him during the good times and the bad?
I do.
Do you promise to make time for him, to listen to him, to support and encourage him so that you will grow together as a couple?
I do.
And finally, do you promise to always eat all the chicken in the curry?
I do.
Because you know that William only likes the sauce. Well, Frankie and William have written their own promises, declarations of love, which they're going to make to each other in front of you all. William, would you like to speak first?
Today I stand before you to make a promise that will last the rest of our lives. To be your partner, your best friend and your husband. I promise to always love, honour and support you, to shelter you in times of storm and always be there through life's ups and downs. Today is the happiest day of my life. I'm so proud to call you my wife.
I love you more than anything else. I love the way you can always make me laugh, even when I don't want to. I love that you never take yourself or my deep feelings too seriously. I love that even after 8 years, you're still giving me butterflies. I love you for holding my hand on my hardest days and seeing me that my best days are coming. What I want to say here today is I choose you. I'll choose you over and over, without pause, without doubt for the rest of my life. Through the good times and the bad, I'll wake up every day and choose you. Today seems like it's the start of a new journey, but I already belong to you. Falling for you wasn't falling at all, it was walking into a house and knowing you're loved. I love you.
You can do the kissing bit in a minute, all right? Well, as a symbol of those promises that you've just made and the love that you've declared for each other, you're now going to exchange rings. Like the wedding rings, your love has no end. It is unbroken, continuous, eternal. The rings are made of a precious metal to show that your love is invaluable to one another. They were created with patience and care to remind you to spend time loving and supporting each other. The gold, being bright like the sun, will always remind you of the warmth you feel for each other today. Luke, you ready for your bit?
Yep.
Yeah? Okay, would you step forward please with the rings? And if I move out the way here. And could you give Frankie's ring to William, please? There you go. Okay. That's right, if you step back a bit, don't sit down.
Yeah.
Okay. We've got another bit in a minute.
Yeah.
William, please take the ring and holding Frankie's left hand, place it on her third finger and repeat after me. This ring is a symbol
This ring is a symbol
of how much you mean to me.
of how much you mean to me.
It is a sign
It is a sign
that my love for you
that my love for you
will never end.
will never end.
It is a reminder
It is a reminder
of the vows
of the vows
I have made to you today
I have made for you today,
and a promise
and a promise
that I will always be with you.
that I will always be with you.
And now, Luke, if you could give the ring to Frankie. Thank you. And you can then go and sit down. Okay. Frankie, if you would hold William's left hand, place it on his third finger and repeat after me. This ring is a symbol
This ring is a symbol
of how much you mean to me.
of how much you mean.
It is a sign
It is a sign
that my love for you
that my love for you
will never end. It is a reminder
is a reminder
of the vows I have made to you today
the vows I have made to you today,
and a promise
and the promise
that I will always be with you.
that I will always
The wedding ring is worn upon what the Romans called the vena amoris, the vein of love, in the belief that this ran straight to the heart. You two do indeed have a powerful love for each other. May its strength always support you and its warmth encourage you to grow together. May you continue to draw upon the love you share to help you through whatever life brings you as you begin the greatest journey of your lives. It's the bit we've all been waiting for. You may now seal your love in the time-honoured fashion. William, you may kiss the bride. Round of applause. Well, to round off the ceremony, we're going to have a reading by Victoria from Captain Corelli's Mandolin. Oh, sorry. Knew I'd get something wrong. There we go. It's in there somewhere.
Love is a temporary madness. It erupts like volcanoes and then subsides. And when it subsides, you have to make a decision. You have to work out whether your root was so entwined together that it is inconceivable that you should ever part. Because that is what love is. Love is not breathlessness. It is not excitement. It is not the promulgation of promises of eternal passion. That is just being in love, which any fool can do. Love itself is what is left over when being in love has burned away. And this is both an art and a fortunate accident. Those that truly have roots that grow towards each other underground, and when all the pretty blossoms have fallen from their branches, they find that they are one tree and not two.